Happy Holy Fool's Day, everyone. If you've never heard of it, it's because I made it up. In 2014, I read that Joseph Campbell said that this archetype of the holy fool is the most dangerous person on earth. To the hierarchy, she is not controllable. She won't listen to reason. She's going to do whatever she's here to do, what he's here to do, no matter what. I just got so inspired by this because, as the little Rumi saying in the bulletin says, stop, sit still, listen, because you're drunk and we're on the edge of the roof. So if the world is not working exactly as you'd like to see it be working, isn't it up to us to create a new story that can show us a way forward? And if you're a holy fool, that's what we're asking you to do today. I've had the privilege this week of 4 of my returning transformational speakers coming to an advanced immersion where we were mining and discovering and giving voice to that new story. Because we know if we do what we've always done, we're going to get what we always got, and we're ready for something else. Arundhati Roy said, a new world is not only possible, she's on her way. And if you listen carefully, you can hear her breathing. So she is breathing today through Jennifer Ness Schmid, Gayle Colman, Kathe Crawford, and Robyn Youkilis. Jennifer's from Phoenix, Gail's from Maine, Robyn's from New York, Kathy's from Florida. So they came a long way to share their Holy Fool's vision. And you know how we got there? The same way we ask you to get there. To look at what may not be working and to say, what if, what if, what if, what if? Jennifer.
Thank you. What if we loved all those whom we disdain? I spent so much of my 51 years hating on people, especially politicians. They make it so easy for us. But when I learned how to start neutralizing that negative energy, it made a profound impact on my health and well-being. I remember back in 2004, and it was in the middle of George Bush's re-election campaign, and I spent so much time and energy hating on Bush and Cheney. Now, I didn't have time to hate on them. I had a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 3-month-old, but I did it anyway. And one day, I was reading a fairy tale to my 4-year-old. I don't remember which one, and I had a little epiphany. And I thought to myself, what would happen if instead of hating on these men and wasting my time, I instead sent them a prayer that they would receive love and see the light? Now, of course, the light I wanted them to see was my viewpoint. But, you know, you gotta start somewhere. Because, you know, life can be really hard. And I see us, you know, we're walking on this tightrope of life and we're juggling all these balls of family and relationship and finances and work and kids and parents and health and oh my goodness. And there are so many things that can knock us off the tightrope. But when we release our fears and our judgments and our burdens over to the divine, creator, God, source, whatever you call this magnificent, omnipotent energy of love that surrounds us all, it frees us to be a better and higher version of ourselves. And knowing that the divine has my back, knowing that the divine is this incredible safety net below me on this crazy tightrope is what allows me to be a holy fool. Because I envision a world where unconditional love is the norm and our currency. And until we get there, you've got to listen to Gayle Colman and read her book, because that's our currency for now. But in the meantime, I'm envisioning us taking steps to this world of unconditional love, and where we all get to partner with the divine, where we have this incredible safety net below us, above us, around us, and within us. So the next time that you might feel inclined, now I'm not saying it's going to be anyone in this room or on Zoom, but just in case, if you feel inclined to think or speak disparagingly about someone or something, Biden, Trump, Fauci, your loud, obnoxious neighbor who wakes you up in the middle of the night, that jerk who cut you off on the way here, I invite you to instead say a prayer on their behalf. Send them love, send them light, send them all of the goodness of the divine. Release that burden. And I promise you, it will strengthen your safety net below, around you, within you. You will feel the difference in your body instantly. Because it will be, your safety net will be infused with the resilience of your foolish love. I would love to introduce Gayle Colman to you. Her book is amazing.
Hello, my friends. What if the question wasn't money, and this answer was right here in our body? I've been in financial services for over 40 years, and there's never been a time that fear hasn't been the undercurrent of money. And we feed that fear with the idea that there's a right number. We get this idea from, our goals that are so important to us, like retiring or funding a college education. And the problem with that is there is no right number. Imagine yourself stepping into the current of a river, and that river is always changing, just like life for us. And since it's always changing, our number doesn't make sense. So what do we do when we know life is always changing and we have that fear? Well, we try something new because we are adaptable and we always adapt. And we try something new that's never been considered, like a holy fool. We find our body. We come to the source that has been with us our entire life. We experience ourselves here and now with our enoughness, with our okayness, because that's the only place we're going to be able to find it. It's not out here in a number that we're told that generates more fear. So let's try it right now. I invite you to gently close your eyes or lower your gaze and feel your bottom on the chair. And feel your feet on the ground and feel yourself held. And bring your palms to your belly, allowing yourself to bring your breath down into your belly, feeling your okayness, feeling your presence and groundedness and rootedness right here. Allow your breath to expand your belly. And just recognize right now, I'm okay. I'm enough. I'm sufficient. Imagine that number that you might have and bring it right down into your belly and allow that to be felt. You see, future fearing of something that's never arrived is always going to change. But we can find our sufficiency and our okayness right here in our belly. And when we feel embodied sufficiency, we then naturally open up to our heart, which is generous and connecting. So what if that number, that question isn't about money, and the answer is always right here in your precious body, welcoming you home to your vibrant, precious life. It's my pleasure to now welcome Kathe Crawford.
What if? What if we embrace aging as growing whole and not old? I remember being a little girl sitting at my grandmother's dining room table, waiting for her to arrive home from work. I used to be there every day, anxiously awaiting the stories that she would bring back from her day's experience. And as a little girl growing up, I was just in awe of her, of the stories that she would tell about her coworkers and how things operated in her office. And what was really fascinating for me was my grandmother had grown up during the Depression. And I didn't quite, as a young girl, really understand what that meant. But I knew that these stories that she was sharing with me had a lot of challenges and adversity. But I would see her come in from work, and she was doing okay. She had a great job. She started off as a bottle washer. And she aspired for something more. And she always talked about that, about wanting more. Not more from a selfish, but more of how she could contribute. So she asked me one day, she said, there's an opportunity for me to step up from bottle washer to assistant as a chemist. Now, she had no formal, real, like that kind of education, but in those days, it's true. You had an opportunity to earn your way up the ladder based on a lot of your experience. You know, we didn't always have to have these corporate degrees, but she did have to take some tests. And I don't know, I might have been about 12 years old, and she said to me, I have to do math. I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't great at math, but I was her only source that she could ask. So we got together, and I taught her anything that I knew, everything that I knew about the numbers, and she worked hard to pass this test, and she did. And I realized now, as I reflect back on some of those experiences with my grandmother, that I was able to give to her my youth, my energy, and she was able to give to me her wisdom and the experience that she was living every day. And I didn't know it at the time, but what a great marriage of youth and aging. Because she was not going to grow old. She was going to continue to grow whole. But now I stand here as a modern elder, because I am above the 60 mark. Now, how do I give back? How do I share what I've learned in my life with the youth of today? How do we make the marriage of today's youth with the modern elder an opportunity to create intergenerational relationships that could benefit society, the world? How can we do that? And we do it just like I did with my grandmother. We share our experiences, our wisdom, and we marry it with today's youth and their energy and their passion for change and the opportunity that exists within them. So as I look upon all of you, and there might be a few above 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 or 80, don't stop. Don't stop sharing the wisdom that you have, that you can bring to the youth of today, because they need you just as much as you need them. So what if, as we begin to age, we step into a new role in our society called the modern elder? And it's my honor to welcome Robyn Youkilis. I read that wrong. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. What if joy was our highest currency? I have this ring on my finger. It goes between different fingers depending how sweaty and swollen I am that day. But I have this ring on my finger, and it's a diamond horseshoe and an anchor. And it was my beloved grandfather's ring. And he had this made from the two things that brought him the most joy in his life, aside from his family, depending on the day, but that was a given. His true joy, boating and being a horseman. Now, my grandpa was an original cowboy. There are very few times in my life that I saw him without a cowboy hat on. And he was the kind of man, he was born in Canada in a town called Joliet, just outside of Montreal. And he was a cattle rancher. And when he would come to visit us, one of the most astounding things I remember about him, amongst many other beautiful qualities, was that he would stand outside in his hat and a denim jacket and about 2 degrees on the temperature scale, Fahrenheit, when he was visiting, and snow on the ground and snow flurrying, in a jean jacket, smoking a cigarette. And I just thought, my goodness, like, you are just so who you are. How cool. And so he had this ring made, and I've gotten to wear it over many years now. And I've realized, in addition to this being such a beautiful reminder of the cowboy that my grandpa was and is that his joy, and that how he prioritized that and made sure that he had that in his life no matter what. And in my 20s and even 30s, I'm 43 now, I thought that meant doing everything and anything and all the opportunities, right? Living big and bold and bright and fast. And sometimes that meant partying, and sometimes that just meant wild adventure and all these things that I've done in my 20s and 30s. And I thought that meant honoring your joy. And as I'm in my early 40s now, and a mom of 2 kids, I have a 7-year-old and a just under 2-year-old. And as I try my best to drop as deeply into presence with them as I possibly can, I realize more and more and more that that is the true joy. That was the joy that my grandpa felt in his heart doing the things that he loved. And it can be the things that you love, and I invite all of you to create these anchors of joy in your life. And sometimes they can be something exciting on the calendar that you're looking forward to, and sometimes it can just be this sweet drop into presence that I'm now realizing is the highest currency that I can offer myself and that I can offer my family. So what if we all valued joy in those simple ways, and in the ways that my grandpa, his hat, his denim jacket, is showing me every day I wear this ring and beyond. And actually, I texted my mom when I got here, tell me again about Grandpa and the rain. How did that happen? She's like, well, she told me a little bit, which I shared with you. And she goes, today's his birthday. So happy birthday, Grandpa Maurice, you original cowboy. And thank you, truly, happy birthday. And thank you for being the wild, brave, joyful, 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 big, bold, and quiet, and still, and beautiful man that you were and that you are. Thank you for everything. Thank you all.
Oh, my heart is full. So I invite you to look where your heart is full and what you love. And what about that isn't working in the world right now? The holy fool, in all that innocence, stepping off the cliff into the unknown, knowing there's an ocean of energy to rise up and meet that intention and that dream for the world. So I invite you to create your own new story for the world you want to be part of and start living it today as these holy fools are. Thank you.